Hi everybody, Teresa McGallagher here. It's Wednesday, hump day, and that means it's time for my weekly wisdom video. And I just want to clarify that this wisdom that I'm sharing with you each week is not coming from me. I don't necessarily consider myself a super wise person, but this is wisdom from my spiritual practice of A Course in Miracles. So today I thought I would talk about fear, because that seems to be something that all of us have to grapple with at some point in our life in one way or another. And if you have comments or questions, please feel free to post them. I'd be happy to address them. But what I want to say about fear is that it is completely unnecessary in your life. And many people believe that fear is a natural human emotion, but I do not agree. We are taught from a young age that fear is vital to keep us safe. And I've heard people say, and students and teachers of A Course in Miracles say, that you must have fear to keep you from walking out into traffic or from sitting on a hot stove. But the truth is, once you experience one of those things or you see what effect those kinds of things have on other people, it only takes common sense and a little knowledge of the facts to realize that you shouldn't do those things. And you can approach those things without fear. You don't have to stand ready to cross the street, quaking in your boots, worried that you're going to get hit by a Mack truck if you step out in front of traffic. You can just know that it's not a sensible thing to do and not do it without the emotion. So you may have heard the acronym for fear, that it stands for false evidence appearing real. And that sounds very, well and good, but how can you implement that in your life when you're gripped by fear? Well, fear always comes from projecting into the future some possible outcome. It comes from speculation. It comes from thinking that you know what's going to happen. You know that something bad will befall you if you take a certain course of action. But the truth is, you can't possibly know what's going to happen. You're not God. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't have a crystal ball. Unless you're some sort of highly intuitive, psychic person, you don't know what's going to happen in the future if you take a certain course of action. And that is why fear does not serve you. It does not help you make good decisions. In fact, fear prevents you from making good decisions because it puts you in this panic, fight or flight survival mode. And that may have been useful for us as humans at one point in history, way back when we had to run away from tigers, or we had to freeze if some predator was approaching. But none of us live in that society nowadays. We're not cave people anymore. We don't go through our lives on the daily worrying about being blown up by bombs. Okay, you may feel that way because of what you read in the paper or see on the news, but the reality is most of us live very mundane, average, boring, routine lives. We get up, we have breakfast, we get dressed, we do our stuff, and nothing is jumping out of the closet to get us. So the whole purpose of A Course in Miracles is the reduction of fear. The reduction of fear. This is our goal. And one of the very interesting things that it says in the Course is that you made fear, and therefore you are the one who is responsible for undoing the fear. God or Jesus or angels or whoever, your higher spirits cannot come down and just take the fear away from you. It doesn't work like that. It may seem to work that way sometimes in a miraculous situation, but in general, the fear was created for you, by your thoughts, by your ego thoughts. And continuing to entertain ego thoughts is what keeps you living in fear. You don't need to live in fear. You can live without fear. I do it every day. So you may say, oh, it's easy for you to go through life fearlessly because nothing bad ever happened to you. If you had some tragedy befall you, then you would naturally feel fearful all the time. And I agree that if you have been raised with a lot of trauma, or you were raised in a war zone, or you have some situation that's caused PTSD symptoms for you, that's a whole issue that needs to be dealt with. And I'm not equipped to help you with that. You can get counseling, you can get therapy, you can learn techniques like breath work and things that will help you to calm your nervous system and reduce your fear. But beyond that, there is a whole other level of fear that is created solely by worrying about what's going to happen next based on what happened in the past. So this is what A Course in Miracles says. It says you have dragged the past into the present, and because of that, you are continuing to have a future like the past. You keep thinking, this bad thing happened to me once upon a time. It might happen again. I need to worry about it now in the present to keep myself feeling safe. And that's insanity. That is insanity. Just because something happened once in the past doesn't mean it will ever happen again. And as I said earlier, you have no way of knowing what's going to happen. So the challenge for us is to live in the present, not to focus on things from the past, not to worry about things in the future. Depression comes from focusing on the past. Anxiety comes from focusing on the future. Peace of mind comes from staying right here in the present moment. And in this present moment, no one is trying to kill you. Correct? You're sitting here watching a video on Facebook. You're safe. And you're safe all the time. So one of the interesting things that I love that Jesus said in the Bible was that unless you become like a little child, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. And my interpretation of that is until you get to that state of mind where you feel nurtured, cared for, protected, and supported by your older and wiser parents like we do as children. We don't worry about what's going to happen 20 years from now. We just get up and play and go through our day. Until you get to that state of mind again, which requires undoing all of the crazy conditioning and baggage that we have been taught and programmed with, you can't get into this heavenly state where you feel relaxed all the time, where life feels good all the time, where there's nothing to fear. So that's our work, to stay present, to look at the crazy thoughts that are going on that are frightening you, to realize that you are the one who's having those thoughts, and you don't have to have those thoughts. You can have other thoughts. You can choose to focus on something else instead of those scary thoughts, and you can calm yourself down. And I want to share a short prayer with you that I think is very useful for this, if you do feel yourself caught up in a state of panic and fear. And the prayer is, please heal my fear-based thoughts. Please heal my fear-based thoughts. And I didn't come up with this prayer. It's from a book, and it's by Debra Lanwehr Engle, the author of the book, and it's called The Only Little Prayer You Ever Need, I think. So that is my recommendation to you. If you frequently find yourself in a fear-based place, take a deep breath, calm your nervous system, repeat, please heal my fear-based thoughts, which you're asking for guidance, right? You're asking for help from a higher power to help you heal the thoughts that are causing you to feel this unnecessary fear. So that's my message for today. That's what I have to share with you. I really appreciate you tuning in here. I'm Teresa McGallagher, and my partner Carly Hardy and I have created the Miracles Tribe to lend support and encouragement to students of A Course in Miracles and any spiritual seekers in general. And we are here all the time. If you have questions or you have comments, we would love to hear them. Have a great day. Love you. Bye-bye.